Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Monday, June 29th, 2020 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is my nurturing, self-care, and feels are all personal responsibility. And today we kick off another week of shifts and intensity because it's 2020 and this is what we do in 2020. Today, late Monday, early Tuesday for some, we are going to have our second Jupiter Pluto conjunction. And actually Pallas is joining in on this one as well. So we're going to dig into that. And let me just say that a lot of times I feel like the building energy can be almost more intense again than like the actual peak of it, but do be aware, no matter where you live, all through Monday, you will be feeling this. This is on top of the Mars shift we just had. Mars into Aries. We're building Saturn retrograding back into Capricorn on July 1st, and we're also building into our second eclipse coming later this week, the 4th or the 5th, depending on where you live. So, holy moly, this is a lot of energy. We're definitely going to focus on this Pluto, Jupiter, Pallas conjunction, but do realize all these other energies do feed in, and I feel like especially that Mars and Aries energy, it's like a simmering volcano under the surface to be very aware of. And this simmering volcano has like a trigger finger. So be very aware of that. In an already, I feel like, I don't know, intense atmosphere in the world, this is just adding into it. So Pluto and Jupiter and Pallas. So Pluto and Jupiter came together April 4th, I believe it was. Oh, did I mention the moon is moving into Scorpio today? Because that's just adding to it. Anyway, Pluto, Jupiter energy. If you remember, back at the beginning of April, that's when a lot of states were going quarantine, lockdown was beginning. So we have to just look at like the astrological patterns of interestingness. And the first eclipse that we had reminded us of Groundhog Day, that energy of repeating patterns. So again, I don't know exactly what's going to happen, and I don't know what's best, but chances are we are going to see some level of repeat pattern. Now, this is such an interesting connection. Pluto, Jupiter, and Pallas. Pallas to me really throws this aha energy into it. Capricorn already can have such a patriarchal curve to it, patriarchal energy to it. Pallas, for sure, brings that. So Pallas, representing patriarchal energy, conjunct this Pluto and Jupiter, is reminding us all that we've all grown up. This world, in general, it is a very patriarchal world. We all have pieces of that, having grown up in it, having been raised in it. It's very normalized for many of us, even if it goes against our personal highest morals, even if it goes against our personal authority. So this is a very interesting energy. How many times have I said this? Pluto energy is where we can potentially take our power back. Pluto energy is where we need to face the shadows, face any of that victimization. Jupiter is a teacher here and is like, are you ready for a whole new world? Are you ready to expand in your personal authority? Jupiter, though, can expand like the goodness, the empowerment in Pluto, but it can also expand that powerless feeling. It can expand the feeling of being in the darkness, even the fear as, you know, it feels like a lot of the structures of the world are tumbling down. Transformation energy with Pluto, and Capricorn rules structure. Yes, this is part of the process. But that Pallas energy, it gives us a little focus in all of this to be like, okay, where is this still instilled in me? And where am I being called to notice it, seek it out, and release it? It reminds me of what a lot of people have been saying, and I really agree with, that it's not enough in this world right now just not to be racist. You have to be anti-racist. Like, we really do have to go in and notice where these energies are systemic. And this feeds into the racism that has been literally built into the structure of this country and other countries, and other places where, again, we do things that don't agree with our personal heart morals or our soul morals, that don't feel right. And I remember so many times, for me, a lot of that patriarchal energy was built in the church. I remember hearing things and being like, that's not the God I know. That's not how it works. As a 6-year-old, thinking that I know everything, right? But this feeling in me that, like, this is wrong, this is not how it is, and yet having that energy drilled and instilled in me. We all have those pieces, and so part of this process, again, is undoing these structures within us and just being willing to see where they are at within us, just being willing to be like, I know that I carry some of these tendencies. That's the perfect starting point. You don't have to have it done overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. But be open. North Node in Gemini, stay open to where you are learning those lessons. And Cancer right now is reminding us, Sun in Cancer, nurturing, self-care, allowing the feels, even those things have been somewhat disregarded. I don't want to say taboo, because it's definitely not been taboo, but like, how dare you take a mental health day. Like, that's a relatively recent thing in our world to have mental health days. And even when they do happen, how often have you been shamed for taking a day off, for either taking care of your kids or taking care of yourself? And I know the world has to go on, but yet we as inhabitants of this world do need to learn to practice self-care. And that pulls directly against these patriarchal energies. Another thing to look at is the eclipse coming up this, Saturday or Sunday, depending where you live, 4th or 5th, in Capricorn, is also going to be, once again, showing us these shadows that do exist in these structures. So, this lesson is long, and it's very important, but again, coming back to yourself, where does it exist in yourself? And where can you find a new level of harmony in yourself in accordance with what is true for you, in accordance with your purpose, in accordance with that soul mission? That's the highest energy of Capricorn, is aligning with your personal soul mission energy. So, besides having this today, oh my goodness, so much, Moon in Libra is unfortunately also amplifying these energies early in the day. Moon in Libra, though, it's squaring these energies. So you may feel that where you're out of integrity with that soul calling, where you're out of integrity with like what your needs actually are, where you're out of personal balance or harmony due to trying to maintain this harmony outside in the world with, kind of doing what you were told to do. Clearly it hasn't worked. So, it's time to start a new chapter. It's time to start a new path in this. So we feel that energy early in the day. We then have a void of course moon, which is very interesting because void of course moon can make things feel kind of quiet, kind of tired. So be aware of that energy. Like, you really may feel that pull down. How can you honor that? And again, I know that not everybody can take a day off from work. I know that not everybody can take a siesta in the middle of the day. But how are you being called to honor yourself? And how can you? How can you implement that in your life? How can you be actionable? Again, Mars in Aries is asking us to be actionable in ways that are true to ourselves. But Mars at 0 degrees is also pulling into that, like, downturn of energy. Then we have the moon moving into Scorpio. Moon into Scorpio brings up root chakra stuff. It brings up our fears. It can bring up our fears, again, the power issues, it's ruled by Pluto and Mars. So we're feeling both of those energies coming up. So the power issues, again, may be coming up as well. Also notice, Scorpio also has kind of that, that hairline trigger energy. So that plus the Mars energy, it's going to be in conjunct Mars in Aries. You may really feel some of the rage rising. And again, if you feel that rising, is it from that place of feeling powerlessness? Is it from that place of not honoring your basic needs, that root chakra stuff? So awareness of that. It's also connecting into Saturn. Saturn, just a few more days hanging out in Aquarius at 0 degrees. So that Saturn energy in Aquarius is like, we are building a new world. There is a beautiful future, and we all feed into this energy. We all build it by aligning with that vibration, by aligning our actions with that energy. You may want to go back and listen to yesterday's scope about Mars and Saturn connecting, because that's important. That was Mars' first connection after moving into Aries. So much. So yes, so Moon squaring Saturn. And then, like I said, late in the evening, so 10:46 p.m., Jupiter conjunct Pluto. Now, what I have to say is that these planets, they're going to be like hanging out together for a while. So we still are going to be working all through this week into this energy, like really noticing our shadow, working with that Pallas piece. Pallas is still like, Pallas is 24 degrees, 50 minutes, whereas Jupiter is 24, 11 minutes, and as I'm looking at the chart right now, Pluto is 24, 7 minutes. So Pallas has a little ways. So this patriarchal energy, it's not going to be just over tonight. Be aware of this energy ongoing. How are you being called into your authority? How are you being called into your power? But also notice, again, simmering under the surface, those energies, because that's quite intense. That's interesting. We're also building into a Sun square Chiron. So this can be very healing for ourselves when we choose that nurturing path. And I gotta say, I love these two cards together, the Success card and the Fool card. So trust in this process. I know it's scary. I know it's different. Look at how they blend into each other. I'm like, wow, there's a rainbow. Trust this process, but it's going to take some time. And it's going to take some time for the world. This is like the World card. We are not done yet. There is a lot to do around this. If you just think about yourself, however old you are, this many years of this kind of programming, plus other lifetimes, plus that ancestral programming, it is a lot to be undone. So take your time with it. Go easy. Yes, it's urgent, but it's so important. So it has to be done right. So please do spend the time that it takes, and do realize, again, it's not an overnight thing. Speaking of that, clinging to the past, or letting go of the past, and the mind card in reverse. Watch for the mental energy. The Sun and Mercury are on their way to connecting. Mercury is in a place in its orbit where it's very close right now. So the mental energies may get confusing. A lot of the outside minutia, outside energies may get kind of confusing inside of this. This is our work right now. Releasing the past as it has been and not getting stuck or tripped up too much on mental energies. So that's all for today. You can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. Besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and stay curious. Namaste.